Let's now move on to vocabulary discrete, the next part. You're supposed to choose the most suitable answer and write the number in the brackets. Let's look at question 6. Brenda has come back from her Japan trip. The underlined word is come back. What we have to do is to look for an option that we can use to replace the underlined words. Let's first look at what these words mean. First of all, we have return. Well, return sounds like come back, but we are not so sure yet. So let's move on to the others and then we come back to return. Number 2, we have wondered. To wander means to move about or to move away from something. It gives us the impression that you are moving around quite aimlessly. But in the question itself, Brenda has come back from her Japan trip. Tells us that she knows where she went and she knows where she's going next. And option 3, we have departed. Departed means to leave. Did Brenda leave from Japan? Or Brenda has come back from her Japan trip. So it doesn't have anything to do with leaving. And then next we have traveled. Travel would mean to move about within or outside of a country, right? And if we put in traveled, Brenda has traveled from her Japan trip. The word her stick out like a sore thumb, so it doesn't fit. If we put in traveled, we have to make it like Brenda has traveled from Japan and drop the trip as well. Okay, looking at it, the best option will be number 1. Okay, because come back means to return. To return means to come back from somewhere far or So the option will be number 1. Brenda has returned from her Japan trip. Let's now look at question 7. My teacher told me to give out the bag of sweets to my classmates. The options are contribute, gather, distribute, or collect. So give out gives us the impression that we are giving it to people. Option number 1, to contribute. What does it mean by you contribute? If somebody is passing a bag around to get people to contribute money, it means to say you join with others in giving, you put in something into that bag. To give out, your friends do not have to put in anything into the main bag. Number 2, to gather. Right, we gather leaves, we gather shells at a beach. Okay, that means to collect. But in this case, when we give out, we are not collecting anything. And option number 3, distribute. A lot of times the teacher will tell you to distribute the worksheets or to distribute the books. That is to give to your friends. Okay, that is the same as giving out things. And then of course number 4, to bring together means collect. Okay, collect means to bring things together, like collect the books from your friends. Therefore, the best option will be option number 3, which is distribute. My teacher told me to distribute the bag of sweets to my classmates. Let's look at question 8. After a long day at the zoo, the children are tired and worn out. What does it mean by being tired and worn out? Option number 1 says disappointed. What does it mean? To be disappointed means that you're unhappy and not seeing hope come true. Like for example, if you're expecting to go to the zoo and in the end because of bad weather you did not go, you are disappointed. But in this case, the children went to the zoo. Option 2, weary. To be weary is to be tired due to long journey. Journey meaning on the road or on a flight, on a train. But in this case, they were out at the zoo, so it is not a journey. Therefore, we will not use weary as a correct answer. Exhausted sounds almost correct, but let's move on and see if option 4 is a correct answer as well. Energized. To be energized means to give energy to, right? After a long day at the zoo, all the children will not have any more energy left, so they will not be energized. Therefore, the best option would be number 3. After a long day at the zoo, the children are exhausted. Option number 3. Let's now look on at question 9. The blank is here to fix the faulty cables which caused last night's blackout. The keyword there is cables. Cables means wires. Now, if we look at the 4 options, there are 4 different types of occupation: a technician, an engineer, an electrician, and a scientist. Well, what's a technician? Technicians are usually blue-collared workers. Okay, he is somebody who is very highly skilled in scientific matters or even in industrial areas. Maybe he is an expert in certain kind of equipment. But he is a blue-collared worker. That means to say he doesn't work in an office. He works in a factory most of the time. And option number 2, an engineer. An engineer is one who is professionally trained to plan and design the making of machines and electrical equipment and even structure. Sometimes like bridges, engineers have a hand in building bridges as well. In this case, the keyword, like I said, is cables, so it has nothing to do with an engineer. An electrician? Well, electrician deals with things of electricity. Therefore, it has something to do with cables because that's what cables are all about, wires and electricity. So therefore, the best answer would be number 3. But let's look on at number 4, which is a scientist. What does a scientist do? Well, a scientist is usually an expert in the field of science, in investigations, in research, and in discovery of medicine and stuff like that. So therefore, the best answer would be number 3. The electrician is here to fix the faulty cables which caused last night's blackout. Question 10. My art teacher told us to carry on drawing the portrait. The options are continue, stop, practice, start. What would be the best? To carry on tells us that we move on, we continue drawing the portrait. But let's look at 2, 3, and 4, although we know that option 1 is the correct answer. Number 2, to stop. Stop and carry on is totally opposites. Okay, to stop is to no longer move. If your art teacher tells you to stop drawing the portrait, you will not continue. You will not carry on. And to practice is to do or to perform. Alright, you can do the drawing, but that does not give you the impression that it is carrying on something. And to start is definitely not the answer, because to start is to begin. To carry on means that you have started for some time and you're continuing on. So the best answer would be number 1. My art teacher told us to continue drawing the portrait.